succeed. The ones who strike it rich, the ones who persist, they never quit. No, they never accept defeat. Won't go in 'cause you're 3 feet from gold. Gotta keep pushing, gotta
Today, the world is facing changes. All walks of life from all cultures are experiencing challenges never before seen in our generation.
Have you ever faced challenging times? Wanted to give up, walk away from something very special? Then you're in good company. Years ago, Greg Reid was in the same situation. Now he's writing a book that is going to inspire millions to stay on course.
Through all these difficult moments comes moments of despair. We question ourselves and our own ideals, wondering if we're making the right decisions. Do we keep moving forward or simply give up? Are we following our hearts or are we just buying into old ways of thinking? Today, more than ever, we need solid answers. And more important, we need counsel to help guide us through the toughest of times. Having the opportunity to meet with some of the greatest minds of our generation, a couple of discoveries were made. First, we are a direct reflection of the 5 people we associate with the most, and our income, attitude, and lifestyle is the exact average of that group. Change that association, and your life will change accordingly. And second, the people who succeed and truly come out on top are those who don't quit when faced with temporary defeat. Today, you are going to learn exactly what you can do to create a life of sustained abundance so that you too can apply the powerful teachings. Today is your day. It's your day to experience, learn, and take the first step toward realizing your wildest dreams. Today is your day. Question is, how are you going to make the most of it? I invite you to sit back, pay attention, and separate yourself from the 95% who just dream of success and come join the top 5% who actually achieve it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Greg S. Reid.
My name is Haris and I'm the Mindset Expert. Today we're joined by Greg Reid. Greg is a best-selling author, acclaimed speaker, and a filmmaker. Greg is a natural entrepreneur known for giving his spirit and knack for translating complicated situations into simple, distinguishable concepts. Greg has also published over 45 books, has 28 bestsellers, 5 motion pictures, and has been featured in countless magazines. Greg shares the most valuable lessons he learned are also the easiest ones to apply. Greg has actually been hand-selected by the Napoleon Hill Foundation to help carry on the teachings found in the Bible of personal achievement, Think and Grow Rich. His latest movie, Wish Man, features the real-life story of Frank Shankwitz, who is the founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, where one boy's desire inspired a man to change the world. For more information on that, visit wishmanmovie.com. Greg, thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely. Been looking forward to it.
And then can you tell us a little bit about your best-selling book, 3 Feet from Gold, and the key message of that book?
Well, 3 Feet from Gold was written in 2008 and published in 2009 based on the 20th best-selling book in history, Think and Grow Rich, where the first chapter they talked about, not giving up 3 feet away from your vein of gold. It seems so many people give up one class short from a degree or sales or marketing or marriage or whatever it is when the going gets tough. So the idea and intention of this book was to interview people to find out exactly what they did to persevere against all odds.
Fantastic. And then you work hand-in-hand with the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and they sent you on a very important mission to interview the greatest minds of our generation, ranging from the president of NASCAR to the gentleman who's building the elevator to space, from the founder of Make-A-Wish and an Olympic gold medalist. What was your favorite interview and why?
You know, it's kind of like picking your favorite child, and it'd be kind of digging deep, and probably my answer changes on a daily basis. Lately, probably the favorite one was if you keep talking about Frank Shankwitz, founder of Make-A-Wish, and since I'm making his major motion picture, I'd have to say that one made the biggest impact on me because it's completely transforming my life. From story-wise, though, you know, it comes down to the simplest things. Like John Hope Bryant, who started Operation Hope. Guy went from homeless to, you know, founded a $400 million nonprofit. And he said that secret to success for him was going from failure to failure without the loss of enthusiasm. And it always stuck with me. It seems like so many people give up on their dream when they have those challenges. And Napoleon Hill had a great quote. It says, "Our greatest success will always come just one step beyond our greatest setback." So when you're facing the biggest challenges, good news, you're in good company, and success is right around the bend.
Did you notice something in common with everyone's mindset that you interviewed? Was there a common habit or a common trait that you saw across the board with all the people you interviewed?
Oh, yeah, I mean, definitely. And it came down to one word, which was a follow-up book to 3 Feet from Gold called Stickability, the power to persevere. And the way that they did that is they found something called their knowing, not their hope or wish or belief, but their actual knowing, what they knew in their heart to be true. And they followed it and, you know, never let other people or themselves talk them out of that dream. And I realized that the most successful people, first there's a dream, and then there's a challenge, and then there's victory. Unfortunately, most people quit in the challenge. So my common theme that I wanted to know is what made people persevere through those times and to turn their obstacles into basic realities, and more importantly, turn their obstacles into opportunities.
That's great. So, and then in the speech I saw you do, you mentioned that there's a difference between being interested and being committed on the road to success. Can you go in a little bit more detail about that?
Yeah, you know, everyone talks about entrepreneurship, and, you know, most businesses fail the first year, and, you know, the people that do succeed, 85% of those people fail the second year. And the reason is I could keep coming up with was money, and it could be the product, and all the common denominators. It says, but what is the overlying theme? And there was a difference between being committed and interested, meaning if you open up a new hot, cool restaurant downtown because it's the trend, well, chances are when there's challenges, you're going to fold the tent and quit because the going got tough. But if you took over the family Italian restaurant that's been around for, you know, 8 generations, as soon as there's challenges, you're going to find a way to stick it through because you've got to persevere to pass it down to your kids. And I realized that the people that had that passion, that commitment, are the ones that ultimately came out on top.
Fantastic. And then your first book, The Millionaire Mentor, you got denied by 268 publishers. So what made you keep going, and what happened with number 269?
The same thing is I knew that I had a story to tell, and I was not willing to let other people or myself talk me out of that dream. And so it would have been easy to quit after 100 rejections, trust me, or 150 or 200 or 220 or 240. But the difference is that I just knew in my heart that I had something special to share. I got a D in English. I'm not the most prolific guy in the world. And I realized that, you know, there's a big difference between being an author and being a writer. You know, an author is the guy whose name goes on a book, and a writer is the person who writes the book. Usually 2 different people. And so I hired amazing ghostwriters and copy editors who could take my words, craft them in a way that people would want to read it, and here we are today.
Wow, that's fantastic. So what is one thing someone can do today to start thinking like a millionaire, to develop a millionaire mindset?
Yeah, you know, there's a cliche. It says that we are a direct reflection of the people we associate with the most, and our attitude, our income, and lifestyle is the average of the group. So if you hang around winners, you become a winner. If you hang around people that complain, gripe, and moan, then that becomes the conversation that we have. And for myself, I simply surround myself with people who are getting the results I want. So when I wanted to become a best-selling author, I hung around best-selling authors. When I wanted to become a speaker, I sought the best. Now I'm making movies. I'm finding the people that won Academy Awards, and those are the people I hang out with. And I realize that all we got to do is surround ourselves with people who are already doing what we want, glean from their experience, and we can have it too.
And then in another speech I saw you do, you said that successful people seek counsel and failures listen to opinions. Can you explain what you mean by this, and how does a starting entrepreneur seek that counsel and avoid that opinion?
Well, I just said. I mean, it comes down to surround yourself with people who are actually doing what you want to do. So if you go, basically an opinion is based on ignorance, lack of knowledge, inexperience. They've never done it. Or counsel is based on wisdom, knowledge, mentorship. They already paved the way. If you go to someone who's never written a book, like a family friend, and say, I'm going to write one, they're going to say, you can't do that. You got a D in English. Well, that's their opinion. If I go to Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul and sold 100 million books, I'm going to say, hey, Mark, teach me what you did. He will show me his guidelines, the way he did to make his dream come true. I'll follow it, and ultimately I'll get the same success.
And then another quick question is I'm fortunate enough to be invited to your Top Secret event in March, and I can't wait till March. And I've seen a lot of videos, and one word keeps popping up in everything I see, stickability. What exactly is stickability?
Well, it is the power to persevere. And how in the world did you get on that list? That's a secret inside list. Yeah, I do a private event called Secret Knock. There's not like emails and websites and phone numbers. You got to be invited. And it's kind of like an eclectic group of the cool kids back in school, and we come together and talk about exactly what we've done to create a life of sustained abundance in different areas of life. And it's really interesting because you get to hear right from the people who've done it themselves, and it's really a very cool, unique experience. And I don't know what your question was, but what was it again?
My question was the word stickability, and what exactly does it mean, and how does a starting entrepreneur use stickability?
Yeah, well, stickability, again, goes down to, I believe, the knowing, and it also goes down to the dedication and commitment you have towards making your idea come into fruition. And the way that you do that is you surround yourself with people that will be encouraging, uplifting, and actually be able to share with you how to do it rather than talk you out of it of all the reasons you'll fail. And so that's what it comes down to. Surround yourself with successful people. Charlie Tremendous Jones had a quote. It says that we are the same today as we'll be in 5 years, except for the people we meet and the books we read. It's who we hang out with. It's what we put in our head that determines our character as a person. So the secret is just to hang out with people that will give those positive encouragements, and then you can do it too.
Can you tell us who your first mentor was and how you found that mentor?
Yeah, we've all had multiple mentors in our life, and don't fool yourself. You can have many, many, many. I want to be very, very clear on that one. So, for example, I've got a great tennis mentor who works on my backhand, and I've got a great financial one who teaches me how to do better savings and investments. And so you can have multiple mentors in our lives. And the first one is probably a parent figure or something of that nature. But the first person that made a big impact in business was a guy named David Corbin, who actually took me under his wing, and he didn't tell me anything I wanted to hear, but he told me everything I needed to hear. And by doing so, really opened up some huge doors of opportunity.
Fantastic. And then, so you said to not have one mentor for everything. Find the person that exceeded and has what you want to achieve, and get around that person, basically.
Right. And the most successful people are also the most available people, which is, it seems counterintuitive, but it's actually the truth. Surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do, and then you can start having those same successes. And so, that's what it is I reach out to people who are actually doing. I mean, you'd think to myself, well, I've never made a movie. Why is some Academy Award-winning producer going to want to talk to me, or, the guy who did Pretty Woman or Mothman Prophecies? Well, guess what? They're also looking to share their words of wisdom. So surround yourself with successful people, reach out, reach up, and you'll be surprised who actually reaches back and can bring into your life. It's been a really neat process.
Now, do you have the secret sauce of getting to those people? Is it just, because some of them might be national or international, would you say, just pick up the phone or send them an email? Or how does the starting entrepreneur get around those people?
All the above, exactly what you said. I'm just a regular person like you. And so what I did is I just reached out, just like you reached out to me to do this interview, just like you reached out to whatever. And, again, you'll find out that it's really not as tough. Let me ask you, when you first started doing this, you thought, how am I going to get people to interview and blah, blah, blah. Well, was it as hard as you actually thought?
Not really. All the pieces started coming together. One person knew another person, and they all just kind of started coming up.
And that's the way it works. And so once you realize that, you stop kind of beating your head against the door, and you actually start opening up doors of opportunity. And that's the way it works. And you'll be surprised that the most successful people are truly the most available.
Now, this is a great story. You went from selling ballpoint pens over the phone to being hand-selected by the Napoleon Hill Foundation to carry on the legacy. And you went on to write an international best-selling book. And like you mentioned earlier, you only got a D in English. Did you ever see yourself that you would get to that point? And how did your mindset evolve over the years?
Yeah, not even close. I mean, it's such a strange thing how God works. I have no idea. Again, there's no logic, rhyme, reason, any of that stuff. I wish I could sit there and say it's all calculated, but the realities are it's just the way sometimes, opportunities present themselves, but you have to seize and take advantage of those opportunities. And the only thing I've done differently is capitalize when those opportunities have magically appeared and fallen in my footsteps.
Awesome. And then you also climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. How is climbing that mountain similar to climbing the mountain of life, and let's say the top being, success?
I do the same thing. I surround myself with people that are getting the results I want. I live in La Jolla along the beach, California. I don't know anything about climbing to the roof of Africa. So I found the people that have summited 400, 500, 600 times, I hired them. Wherever they put their boot print, I put my boot print because I knew they'd make it to the top. I didn't recreate the wheel. I just did it exactly, follow successful actions. And by doing so, summited, and my wife went along with me, and she's the first Filipino woman in history to actually conquer that mountain.
Wow. And then, so today, you've done all these amazing things. You're making movies, you're a producer, you're a best-selling author. What drives you today as an entrepreneur?
The next thing, that's what kind of drives me is what's going to be next. What can I do that's out of my zone that I've never done before? How can I expand my horizon? I just feel like I haven't even started. There's an old quote that says, the more you learn, the more you find you don't know. Well, in business, it seems like the more, quote-unquote, success people claim that I have, the least successful I feel. And so what I'm doing is just keep striving and striving because there is no definition or finish line, and I'm just looking to leave a bigger mark on this planet than the when I came in.
Wow. And then what's the best piece of advice you would have for a starting entrepreneur, the young entrepreneur just wanting to get into the field?
Remember this, that surround yourself with the people that are doing what you want to do. Stop asking your friends and family and getting frustrated because they don't support you on your dream. You're the person who's telling the wrong people and asking for an opinion. If you seek counsel, the people are the world-leading experts in exactly what you want to do, you're going to have a totally different conversation. So seek the people that can give you the counsel.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Greg. We look forward to seeing your newest movie with Frank Shankwitz, the founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation. Thank you for all the great information you've given us today. And thank you again for joining us.
Anytime. Keep smiling.